What's up, YouTube? It's crazy. Upload, guys. Yeah, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And today, guys, here's the title: special announcement. I have this. I got a special announcement that I'm gonna be sharing with you all. It could be 10 people. Like, I'm gonna try to do my best to get this shit out there and shit throughout, the socials. But for right now, for the 10 people that sees this, yeah, I don't dream big. I don't dream big at all. No, I'm realistic. I don't think like, oh, this happens and then I get like 10,000 fucking views. You know what I mean? Which for me would be nutty. But no, I got a special announcement. Yeah, so guys, this has been in the works for a while. Give you a little backstory. This has been in the works for about 6 years, which is crazy because I've been doing YouTube since 2017. So around 8 years. That was 8 years ago. So yeah, this has been in the works since 2019. I started this when I was in high school. Which is crazy to think about. When you think about years, like 2017, I was in 6th grade. But then you think about 2018, I was in 7th, and 2019, I was in 8th. But then this was like the start of like high school for me. So it's weird thinking that. But no, so this has been in the works for about 6 years now. Technically, this idea that I had has been in the works for like a decade, since 6th grade. And I'm not gonna act like, oh, I kept it in the wraps. Like, I didn't keep this stuff in the wraps because at first it didn't start out as like really anything crazy. It became crazy for about like 3 years, like a few years ago, like 3 years ago. But the idea still was what I planned 3 years ago. I just didn't think it would ever actually happen. So, pretty much 6 years ago, a young freshman, me, decided that I wanted to find a career. The one thing about high school when I first got that I did not like was the pressure for getting a career in college, because of the fact that the high school that I went to, it was like the first thing they threw at us at orientation, which I guess is expected to kind of like get us situated and like get us ready for what high school is going to bring. But it was like a constant thing freshman year, right? Pressuring us, it felt like, to find a career outside of high school. And now young me wanted sports to be that career, but that didn't work out. I kind of stopped playing sports, and then I moved on to streaming, which that of course didn't work out for me because I kind of got burnt out because of that, like burnt out for streaming. But it seemed like a lot of work that I just wasn't wanting to do. And if I was going to do something, I wanted to be able to do the work and have the passion to do it. And so then it kind of, a lot of the facts, just like I did want to find a career. I didn't want to be that type of person that didn't have a necessary career. They just did a job. Like, working retail, that's not a career, that's a job, right? So unless your career is to understand, maybe you want to work and create your own retail shit, or just you want to work retail for the rest of your fucking life and not have an actual like career like medicine, you know what I mean, or being a fucking doctor. Like, that's what it felt like, that I should probably choose one of those like top end careers. And so I didn't know what I wanted to do, and it kind of stressed me out just because it, like I said, it did feel like they put a lot of pressure onto it. Every year they talked about it, but through the freshman year it was like, we had a lot of assemblies in our auditorium talking about possible career choices, and the guidance counselors were always open and stuff. And I think, if I can't remember correctly, we had to meet with our guidance counselor once a grade year, and they always talked about it for me, and I did not like that whatsoever. But I had decided to move into the career path that I was so unlikely for me, because of the fact that I was good at one point. I was pretty solid. I was pretty solid at this class, I felt like, but then it just, part of me kind of just started to be distant due to the friends that I had during that time. But then middle school, I created this idea with one of my good friends, Logan, one of my best friends in the world, and fucking we decided to kind of create this story. We had a lot of free time in 6th grade, and we were just trying to find a way to pass it. It wasn't like, yo, this is gonna become a book. This is gonna make us famous and rich. I mean, I don't think we really joked about that. I can't remember if we did, but the main part was just we had a lot of free time, and so we shared a doc with one another, and we kind of just wrote and typed up like a cool side story, which involved like our real life friends and the real life place where I live. And I guess the one thing when it comes to creating a story is that you got to be creative about it, and it's got to somehow seem a bit more original, even if an idea has already been used. Try to make it more original to your story, so that it kind of feels different. But that time we weren't like really good at writing. Our chapters were like paragraphs. We thought the book was done by page 4, right? And so it kind of just, it ruined it. It wasn't an actual book, and I thought like, yo, I created my first book. Like, it's not a book. Like, I don't have any personal, like, I can't get to that book anymore. It was left on my school email, and that school email is gone. I hate that. First of all, fuck you guys for taking away that email. First of all, but way too soon, might I add. Like, I remember being able to look up people that I was friends with that graduated, and they still had their fucking emails. Why? So it was like, but after like we were done, pretty much they got rid of that email by like the start of the school, that upcoming school year. So I wasn't able to save that copy of the book, but it was horrible. It was horrendous. And so when I got to high school, I decided, because I had study hall my first class, and it was either I sleep or I could do something. In the beginning of the school year, I did sleep. I just slept. There wasn't much I could do. And so I decided to, eventually I wanted to kind of bring back this story. And I'm not gonna give a lot of details because I want to kind of make a video separate talking about what the book's about and stuff. But I decided to kind of go on and make this an actual book. I adapt it from the previous story. I take the characters from that story, the place, the setting, change the way that the whole character is, the antagonist, in a way where he seems a bit appropriate to be the villain, and he feels more appropriate to being what I had imagined him to be. And so because of that, some things were changed, but not too slightly. But even then, by the end, when I was all done with it, which I was done fully with the book in my junior year, which gave me 2 years. But I was off and on with the book. You know, once COVID hit and we were not in school anymore my freshman year, I sort of just stopped writing because of the fact that, like, I kind of just forgot. I was too busy playing fucking video games that I just, like, I didn't have a reason to get back on. And then I would realize it and I would get back on and shit. And my best friend Logan, I told him, like, yo, I'm bringing back Grim Dude. I'm writing it. He wanted to be an editor, kind of to look at it, kind of give me ideas and stuff. And I allowed it and shit. But eventually, like during that COVID year, I just stopped. So it would have been probably done my COVID year if I put like as much time as into it. But going into that junior year, I had finished everything for that book, I think by Halloween. And then I had ideas for doing multiple and make it a series and stuff. But I decided a few years ago that I was gonna make it an actual book because it was the whole idea for me. But after I graduated, and this was like a couple months after I graduated. This was back in 2023. I saw one of my old friends release a book. He had his very own book out in stores and stuff, and he has it in like our public library and stuff. And I thought that was so cool, and the fact that I have a book, it would be so cool to be able to bring that story to life again, but make an actual book. But the one thing was I knew that I had to add more to that story because again that story, there was points in time where I just had no idea where I left off, and I kept re-saying things. And so I made sure when I got back into that book and I was rewriting it to eliminate all those extras. And then make sure the story flows perfectly, but have a character arc, have character developments, have emotion and tension. And the thing is, I don't read much books. So if people were to read this and they're like, oh, it's great, but I could definitely tell, like, there's some things you can improve on. It's like, I just don't read books most of the time. To me, they're boring. Deadass, I'm being serious. Like, they're boring to read books. But it's just like, I'm not like the type of person that likes to kind of create, like, a setting. Like, because, like, the setting I'm using, it's a real setting. Like, it's where I live. It's, which is crazy because I'm pretty sure I put the street in there too. Which probably shouldn't have done, but whatever. Stephen King, you know what I mean? So pretty much I had allowed myself to kind of like, I'll set ideas and where people know like the weather, the sky, the mood, the visuals, but I'm not going to sit there and go through it every single time I go outside. You know what I mean? So if there's like a time like, oh, I want people to visualize this, I do it. But if I don't, it's just like imagine it as it was once told a few days ago. It's sunny. I only need to say it's sunny outside. You know what I mean? I can say it's light outside, which means that there's sun. You know what I mean? Like, gray sky to me is not light. Like, yes, you can see, but it's like, it's dull. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to say it's bright outside. I would say it's dull. But anyways, I went back through and the pages started out with, I think it was like 110. And so with that, I had a, all right. I had once, this is old. God damn. Yeah, I just realized this. That I was creating the antagonist design. And then ultimately I didn't really give him a look. I just kind of masked it. Okay, there's just a lot of... Okay. So I had set a page goal for the first book to be around 260 pages. I exceeded that by 355, but that was the goal. So all I had to do was add up around 140 pages, make the story good. Now I will say this: if you have an idea of doing stuff like that, it's good for a bit, but I feel like at the exact same time, it's also good to kind of just rewrite it. You know what I mean? Take ideas that you like and just kind of rewrite it. And for the most part, most of my Grimm stories already done. But there's that I feel like the stories are good. Grimm 1 was like the only story that I would say was meh, just because it's an origin story. It's pretty much the first book of the series. It's when everything gets started. So things feel a bit more slow, and there's not much you can add because you're trying to just set up what you want them to know first and then expand on that throughout the books. And for someone who watches a lot of movies and TV, that's what I would want as a reader, is if I'm going to read this, I don't want so much being thrown at me. I want to build off of it throughout the entire book. So once you get to that point, it's like, okay, and this all makes sense and this is huge. And so I was going through each chapter, kind of seeing how much pages I had and how much pages I wanted to add with plus numbers. So the prologue was +5, or was 5, but add 2. And then pages, chapter 1 was 6 pages, and I was going to add 3, so on and so forth. And stuff. And then tell myself what I wanted to expand on. And then, yeah. So that was the goal, okay? And that, like I said, I started that back in 2023, and here it is 2025. Which, again, just like I did with when COVID hit, once I got a job, I kind of stopped working just for a bit on it because of the fact that I was just too preoccupied on everything. But I had a computer, but my computer sucked. It really sucked. So I didn't like typing on it. So eventually I had actually, which is crazy that I'm saying this, because once I got a computer, I got another computer this past year, I had to actually use my fucking phone to type on. And I was actually using my phone, adding to the book. And shit. Which is crazy because as soon as I got that computer, that's all I remember typing on now. So, but yeah, no, for the past couple of years, that was the goal. And then once I was done, I was gonna edit it and I was gonna submit it. But then realizing the whole point of having an editor was to have them edit. But I would never tell someone not to look at it and make sure everything's right and stuff, because there could be things that could be or should be changed. And then so eventually, when everything was done, I started to submit it to other places. And so eventually I found a place, but it didn't work out. And then now I decided to do it on my own and self-publish on my own using Amazon, which I'm still a bit iffy on because I don't actually know how it works. So I don't really know how it works because the fact that Amazon isn't your typical publisher. It's a publishing company through Amazon. I'm pretty sure, but it's I would feel so bad if people pay for my book and they're expecting me to ship it. You know what I mean? But it asks for my cover, it asks for my manuscript and stuff. So I'm guessing they're taking care of it and stuff. So I would just feel bad if it just got flipped and be like, yo, you got 300, 400 orders of this book and I do not have it. Sorry. Which then I would just send everybody refunds and tell them to get another version of it. But there, like I said, there are other versions. There's 3 versions of this book. There is the paperback version, which I was excited about because I like to have a hand-on-hand copy of my book, right? I want to have a version like that so bad, just because of the fact that it would just be cool. I can have it displayed or something and stuff. But I then have a hardcover version. So if you don't like the fact that the paper book is gonna crinkle the fuck up the cover, you got the hard book to have, and then I got the ebook version, pretty much an electronic version of the story. So like I said, if I had to tell people, like, refund people's money because of the fact that they had bought the book and I had to give it to them and I didn't realize that, then I'm like, refund the money, just go get the ebook version. But I know people are like, they're accustomed to different versions, and so the ebook version is cheaper by like a good margin, but you know, I wanted to make sure everyone had an option. But after 6 years, I finally, you know, I'm getting this done, and I'm so excited because with this book, I feel like I have such a good future for it and future ideas for it. Like I said, this thing, like I got my Instagram where I told my friends and shit, which I'm gonna say this, I had more of an attraction when I announced that I had a prototype of my book made, that I put my own money in, and I got like so much attraction, like, oh my god, no way, you know, like that's so cool. And like when then I announced the release date for the book and announced where people could buy it, you know, technically right now on Amazon you can go pre-order the book for the ebook. And when I'm recording this, I recorded an actual version of this prior, and I talked about the fact that I wasn't gonna upload it until the paperback got the okay confirmation, and that was ready to go. And today I finally got that, so that's why I'm making this. And that's why I posted on my Instagram, because I didn't want to post it and it just be like, nope, not happening. And it's only gonna be ebook, and like even though it's cheaper, like some people might like to have an actual copy. Like it's just something that's cool to have. You know what I mean? Like, but I have such a cool, I have so many ideas for this. For like I'm being serious. Like if this movie was to get big, I mean, holy shit, this book was supposed to get like got super big, and it would be so cool to see this as a movie or as a fucking TV show, because that's the level of shit that I try to put in this book, is that this has the potential of being a movie or a book. You know, when you're making a book, I feel like you're not always wanting to make it into a movie. You're just trying to have a great story. But yeah, like for me, I didn't make it for a movie, but while I was making it, I thought like, whoa, this could be a good movie too. But I was trying to create an original story with an original character, an antagonist with real life characters. Were people that were in the book. Most of them know. I had to change people around because I didn't want to get sued. So some people are just based off of people. But the people that are real, which I will talk about, that I'm going to talk about the ones that know that they're in the book in the video, talking about what this book's about. And so I'm not trying to get so much of it right now, so I can make a video about like what's the book about and stuff. So, but I had thought about so many things with this, and it's not just book, like this is book one of many. The one thing I liked about what Amazon did for me was asked if this book would be part of a series, because realistically it's part of a series, and so coming up with the name of the series, and for so long I had I'm just checking this stuff. I'm just trying to see. Yeah, and I have some ideas on future books, but for so long I just called it the Grimm Saga. I thought it was cool, and then I was like, nah, I want something that kind of feels like it can go along with this. You know what I mean? Instead of just calling like, because the first book it's one name, and so I didn't want the saga or the entire series would be one name. I wanted to add it to something, but then I thought about in my head that there's different parts of this entire series, so I didn't want to do saga for the entire thing. So I called it, like, it's pretty much the name and then Chronicles at the end, which does kind of go against the one of the books in the future, because it It's got Chronicles in it, so I probably would turn that to Saga or something. But this has been a long time in making. I put a lot of effort and a lot of heart, and I thought when I was doing this, I kind of created this like little playlist of like songs that I would, if this was a movie, I would want in. But it was also good because of the emotion aspect. What music, like I know it does for everybody else, but like what music does for me, like that. If it's an emotional song, I'm very emotional. Like that's my mindset. That's where my head's at. So my writing for an emotional scene, like God, it's perfect. It's perfect. If I need a serious scene, I think I still go with emotional. I think I still do that. And then so alongside of that, I didn't actually have a lot of happy shit, to be honest. But now, I thought it'd be cool was to make a playlist of songs for the first book. On like those are the ones that I feel like are pretty much what tells the story. So we got some happy songs, we got some romantic songs, some love songs, and then we have some like emotional, serious songs to like fucking dead ass emotion. Like it's just fucking sadness. You know what I mean? To wrap it up, they kind of give you like how to feel during this shit. Like oh my fucking God. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, 6 years in the making for this, and like I said, it's just to me it's just the beginning. Because like I said, I've written so many more books. I'm working on book 2 as we speak. Getting that done. Hopefully that's done by next year. I remember actually when looking at it, this like where it was this past year, I told myself like if I can focus on a chapter a day, I was gonna have this book done by like the end of July last year, and this was like the beginning of like midway through June, and I think this was because I was like on I was like on chapter 10 maybe. There's like a good amount of chapters in here, and if I was to kind of just focus a chapter a day, I'd be fine. But that didn't happen because I just like I put whenever I was at work and I was on my break, I used my break to do it. But then eventually, when I started talking to another girl, she became my main priority, and the book was kind of put below it. So I made sure whenever I was on my break to talk to her, and she did not like that. She was very irritated because she didn't like communication. Fuck her. I wasn't even I'm gonna say this. This is not part of it. Like I barely actually texted. You know what I mean? Like, cause I knew how she was. I always text her like good morning and stuff, and good morning, beautiful, by the way. Like I made sure to let her know, like, to say that, because she loved that. And then see where her head was at because she was going to work. Ask her if she had any plans that day. If I was at my day off or stuff. But I barely spoke to her. When she was at work, she would snap me. I'll snap her. We kind of text here and there. She can complain about whoever the fuck she was working with to me, and I was fine. And then whenever I was going to work, I told her like I'll text my breaks. She was like, "All right, KK." KK was always the good tell that she was in a good mood and she was fine. Everything was good. And then she was like, "Have a good day at work." Oh my God. And then I text her my break and see what like how her day's been. Because it was like I didn't ask that. Like it was it's late and and stuff. But I feel like I'm not even gonna lie. Like I kind of lost my touch with talking to girls because sometimes I just fucking don't know what to talk about sometimes. So, anyways, yeah. So then I got back to the book. So, but no, this has been fucking like in the making for so long. Like Fortnite was in chapter 2, season 1, when this was like fucking in the works. So this is fucking amazing, man. Comes out October 16th. It comes on my birthday. I got to choose the release date. I thought it would be an amazing thing to kind of release this and release it on my birthday. So like this book's birthday would be my birthday. I don't think I don't think I would do that for all the books, because of the fact that I think it would have been that would have been cool. No, I had an idea like for whoever the character development was, and who was the like I was working on for the like character development, and who was gonna be the main story aspect, at least on their birthdays. But the person who is for this book, their birthday just happened, so I can't do that. I have to wait a year, and I don't want to wait a year for this. Which probably should, but you know what I mean. I knew what I was doing by I didn't want to do it so fast because I still want to promote it, and so I just put it a few months ahead. But yeah, so I'm gonna link. I'm not no. Yes, no. Yeah, no, yes. Okay, I'm gonna link down below the Amazon link for the book. I'm also gonna put the link down below for the Spotify playlist. It's public, it's a public playlist of the songs I pretty much used when I was writing this book. So I'm gonna put that down below as well. Go check out my Instagram. Go check my Snapchat, Donna McKenzie, with an extra at the end, no spaces, all lowercase, no periods, all together. Yeah. I would say go check out my TikTok. I'm gonna be posting this on my TikTok as well, but I don't even know what my TikTok's name is. I think I was using it when I was in my music, so it's probably like V2 Donnie's music. I don't know. But yeah, no, drop a like, guys, subscribe. Yeah. See you guys.